Hit me.
From Studio A in Arcata, behind the redwood curtain, it's time for...
Succotash.
Succotash Chats, the original comedy soundcast featuring interviews from comedy...
Soundcast.
Comedians, soundcasters, and other showbiz folk. And here's your host from up the coast, practically unknown outside of comedy soundcasting, Tyson Saner.
Saluton, Succotash, the comedy soundcast listeners. It is, in fact, I, Tyson Saner, your humble host for the duration of this Chats edition of Succotash, the comedy soundcast. My guest is podcaster, or soundcaster, singer, and actor, Korey Epps. Korey was the host of the Evil Teddy Bear podcast for many years and over 100 episodes. I was even a guest on his show in episode 67 titled Fights Like Tyson back in 2013, which if you are so inclined to listen to, I'll provide that link for you. Now, the Evil Teddy Bear podcast went defunct last year, but recently, Korey has come back on the soundcasting scene with the appropriately titled The Korey Epps Show. We'll be discussing that and other things, so stay tuned, won't you? I've also got another selection of Trum Poetry from our almost brand new sponsor, trumpoetry.com. We've even got a burst of Durst from raging moderate Will Durst, which I was thinking of leading with tonight. But first, I'd like to bring your attention to a special event that Mr. Durst brought to my attention. It's called Comedy Celebration Day. They had their first one back in 1981, and this year, in 2018 for you time travelers, it's being held on September 16th from noon to 5 p.m. It features 40 comics. It's in San Francisco in Golden Gate Park's newly named Robin Williams Meadow, and it's free to attend. They recently reached their GoFundMe goal, but you can still see the promo for the event at www.gofundme.com/comedy-day-2018. That's COMEDY-DAY-2018. Alrighty then, here's our burst of Durst for the program. It's from August 10th of 2018, and it's called Swamp Thing, in which our intrepid correspondent goes slightly mad and babbles on and on about the shady, depraved, and transgressive administration. Ain't that always the way?
Hey guys, Will Durst here with a few choice words about Donald Trump and his culture of corruption. During the 2016 presidential election, the former New York City real estate developer famously claimed he was going to drain the swamp. But looking at who he surrounded himself with, it's more like he called in all his reptilian buddies to come urinate in the swamp, and now it's not only bigger, but warmer, too. His blatant greed and con man ways give rich people a bad name. Throughout his entire career, the way of Trump has included pyramid schemes, reneging in contracts, unpaid loans, phony foundations, phantom donations, deceit, mendacity, moral turpitude, and bad hair. He is the king of corruption, the Maharaja of malfeasance, Captain Graft, the overlord of orange-collar crime. So you can't blame his appointees. They get into the president's orbit and see everybody else making money hand over fist. They figure they better grab something before there's nothing left. Forbes magazine reports that Trump's Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross might have stolen upwards of $120 million. Forbes! Former EPA Director Scott Pruitt finally resigned after scandals dropped weekly that portrayed him as being more crooked than a dumpster full of wire hangers. Ryan Zinke, the Secretary of Interior, loves to travel first class on the taxpayer's dime and has left a trail of dodgy banking schemes in his wake. The first congressman to endorse Trump, Christopher Collins, was just indicted for insider trading, which surprisingly has nothing to do with trading insiders. Michael Cohen, the president's fixer, is presently fixing to fix his fixee. And testifying in court, Rick Gates admitted not only to committing crimes at the behest of Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort, but also stealing from him. And Paul Manafort hid his stolen money in unreported offshore accounts. And they both stole from Trump, who steals from everyone. They're the Russian nesting dolls of crime. And there you go, another Russian connection. Coincidence? You be the judge. For Succotash, the comedy soundcast, I'm Will Durst.
And of course, aside from the event, you can go to willdurst.com for his dates and details and more from the Will Durst Journal, comedy for people who read or know someone who does. All right, it's time for the first part of my interview with Korey Epps. Let's dig in.
I got my guitar in my hand.
Oh, cool. Korey Epps.
Hi, this is Korey Epps, yes.
Welcome to Succotash, sir.
Hello. This is Korey Epps, podcaster, singer, actor. I think they say actor, right?
They can, yes. They can and they will. Actor, yes. Some people say actor, but I believe it's actor. If you say actor, it sort of sounds like that's
actor.
That's Robert Downey Jr.'s accent there. When he's doing Tony Stark, he's like, sure. That's what we're going to do. Sure. It's kind of a, sorry, I don't know the line, but it's the way we do it. It's the way my father did it, and it's been working out ever since then. It's kind of, you know what I mean?
And then he sleeps with somebody.
So, Korey, there are people who have heard your name mentioned. They've heard your clips on this show, and then there are people who don't know anything about you and are hearing you for the first time. So I'd like to ask, when did you first begin listening to, or when did you discover podcasts, or as we call them here on Succotash, soundcasts?
Soundcast. Well, I first started listening to podcasts probably, I want to say 2009, whenever Smodcast came out. That was my first podcast that I listened to. I ended up, I was living, at that point, I think I was just like 2008, so I was like 2 years out of high school. Wasn't really doing much with my life and whatnot, and at that point, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I ended up kind of just wandering around, and I discovered Smodcast, and I remember like how much I really loved Kevin Smith's movies. I was like, okay, I really like him as Silent Bob. And so I like his movies. I like his directing. So I listened to him, and I think Smodcast had been out for probably about a year or so at that point now, so that I had a bunch of episodes banked. And this is back when they were on, what's the name of this website? I think it's now called, I don't know if it's still up there, a site called Fred.
Oh, a site called Fred. Yeah, I think it originally might have been on moviepoopshoot.com or something like that.
I mean, it was the same website. I think they just changed the domain name.
Yeah. I thought that's what you meant by it was at the...
But it was Ken Plume's website.
Yes, Mr. Ken Plume, that's right. Who did all the music for their...
I remember that.
Sorry, there's a particular moment with Ken Plume where they're referring to him in one of the Smodcast episodes, because he goes back and listens and also puts appropriate music to their conversations. I might have made reference to this before on Antisocial Show, probably. So one where they're talking about a Deliverance style situation with Ken.
I remember that.
yeah, and then but Scott Moser's improv was the thing that makes me laugh, because it's his particular choice of words that always gets me, because it's a terrible thing to imagine happening, but his like, if he was there in the moment and that was what he said, would be hilarious. And it was, they're playing music, and I don't even remember what the music cue choice was, because it's not that important to the story. It wasn't.
Well, it's also been years now. Like, they took all the episodes, maybe except for one, the first one, and took all the music and stuff out.
Oh, no.
Just put them back up as regular podcasts.
They did? I did not know that. Wow, because I've got a lot of those original soundcasts with their original music.
Wow, that's rare. I have Stitcher. So a lot of the podcasts that I listen to are on there, and I got Stitcher Premium. So I'm paying like the $34.99 a year.
Oh, a year?
For that.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
Especially for a podcast. I was like, that's kind of a steal. And they give you a free month, too. So, but a lot of the podcasts that were Smodcasts, related are not up there anymore. Like one of my favorite ones is from the Smodcastle. What is it? Dungeon Majors or Mystical Majors or something like that. The one where they played the quote unquote D&D podcast.
Oh yeah, and he's the cellar fella.
Yeah.
Instead of the dungeon master.
And they have to suck everything off in order to win.
Oh yeah, and I had Malcolm was there, and it's like go ahead, make the do something as you're walking to. It's like walking to the store, walking to market, or whatever it was. I can't remember, but they made it into the claymation there on the. I haven't been to the proper site in a while now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff they took down. They still put stuff up on there, but like everything from everything that's not newer is on Stitcher, only exclusively on Stitcher right now. That so you can't really go back and go on iTunes and listen to like episode 1 of Smodcast or episode 1 of Babylon or something. They have to go to Stitcher and order to listen to it. It's all commercial free too. So
episode 1 of Smodcast, I think, was Fisting Flipper.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was. Why do I know that? It's
you're a podcaster. It's in your blood.
I guess I don't know. So 2009ish, huh? Yeah, 8 or 9. Yeah, I was around the time I first got on Twitter. So that's probably around the time we met.
Probably. I mean, honestly, no, we met on DJ James's podcast when he did the Sunday night thing.
Oh, is that where? Really? It was that late? I didn't realize that. That's right.
Yeah, but I mean, I heard your name. I think I've heard your name before because there were a couple times that you might have been mentioned on shows where it's just like, oh, somebody wrote in or something like that. I forget what show, though. That's
accurate. Well, it's probably Nooner. I mean, that's the one that I interacted with is the most. I mean, it's the one I still interact with because I do the Tumblr over there on Tuesdays mornings, I think is what it's called. And it's Darren Husted out of the UK and me here. And the Nooner people on Tuesday mornings at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, they have their morning show that's been running for, God, I don't know. It's over 5, less than 7 years, I think now. Mm-hmm. And it's just, we started doing the Tumblr, I think 2 years ago. And it's just basically what I used to do in the Sunday service or when he would do the breaks, which is a topic would come up and I'd shoot him a link basically.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of us did that, but you got it on point.
Oh, well.
At that point.
I think I might have.
I remember that one.
I might have had less of a delay where I was at too, because it don't know how. Like there were times when I would put the answer out before people further away, I guess, or in some locations. I don't know if it's further away or how the tech works, but some people hadn't even heard the question yet. But I'd already heard the question, so when I went to put the information up there, it happened so fast to people who were on the delay that it probably seemed a little magical at times, but. No, it was just quick typing and kind of going, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if they want to know about that. I mean, I wasn't sure if it was annoying or not, but they were nice to me, so I just sort of kept doing it.
It's just like them. It's like he's a good guy, and then they lean out of the mic. He's like, that guy's such an asshole.
I hate that guy. Why does he do that? He's ruining the show.
We love you. We love you, Rev T. 23.
That sounds like we love you, Rev T. I think I've heard. I don't think. I think James would just call me Tyson, but yeah. So after a while, they call me Tyson now too. Like they used to call me. They used to say Rev T says da 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 da. And
yeah, a lot of people I haven't really I think you're the only one that I really kept up with out of that group, and I haven't heard from James in forever.
Yeah, well, he's still on Facebook, I believe. I think he is. I'd really like to reconnect with him, and who knows, maybe even get him on Succotash. James is the reason why I'm connected with any of those people, including Ethan Dettenmeyer, I believe. So yeah, of Combat Radio, I should mention. Combat Radio. It's also the way I met Hunter, as we talked about probably a little bit when you were on our soundcast that we have together called Antisocial Show for a 3-episode arc, because we talked for 3 hours or more or something.
God, we talked. That was just, as you listen to those episodes, though, you can hear me getting drunker and drunker and drunker.
That's funny. See, I can't hear that you're getting drunker. I just hear us doing the thing. But you probably know more what you sound like when you're drunk. Like you can tell.
Well, I get more chatty.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's an audio medium, so
Well, it's also like the podcaster in me, but I have not actually had a drink in. I have 3 more days in my 30 days of not drinking. So.
Really? What may I ask? Why you decided to take that personal challenge?
Well, I feel like I needed a full body reset. There was maybe a week or so before the 4th of July. Mm-hmm. I kind of had another bad panic attack, and so one of the things that my grandma had brought this up, and so did my mom. They think I might be suffering from a little bit of like minor PTSD.
Oh.
From 2 years ago when I got robbed at gunpoint.
Oh yes.
So And so they don't think I've been dealing with it in a good way of some kind. And I wouldn't, honestly, I think my mom said, it's like, if I need to go see a therapist, then you need to go see one, which I probably do, but I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know at this point, but still, to that side of the point, I had a panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of felt like my body was telling me one thing. It's just like, maybe you should take it easy. So I just been taking it easy. I cut down on, I haven't had a drink almost 4 weeks now. It's almost 4 weeks now. 4 weeks tomorrow, or I guess, 4 weeks tomorrow.
Congratulations.
And then on the 9th, I can start drinking again, because that's what I gave myself, if I want to start drinking.
Right. Yes.
This is the 30 days thing was a mandatory thing for me. And it gave me time to kind of sit down and kind of relax and chill out and feel myself again, get to know myself again.
Yeah, absolutely. Get in touch with well, and you can get in touch with your feelings and whatnot, I mean, not numb oneself to, I like to occasionally put on a movie and, well, actually, no, what I'm doing is, it's not specifically even a movie anymore. It used to be certain films would trigger me, like, an emotional response, but now it's pretty much anything. So now I'm just letting myself experience it every now and then. Like, I just started watching Tig Notaro's One Mississippi on Amazon Prime. So it's an original series, and the first episode is pretty heavy in spots. It's really pretty serious. It's also very funny in a couple of spots, but in a kind of a dark way. And the episodes aren't very long, but there's some heartstring stuff going on there. Some really things that people can relate to if they've ever experienced the loss of a loved one or other things. But it's a good show. It's a pretty good show. Anyway, what I'm saying is I allow myself to have emotional responses to things, and that way I think it probably benefits me overall, because I don't keep everything stored inside, and then that way it doesn't come out as anger or frustration, and then I don't take it out on the people that I care about. So yeah. Or anybody, really. I mean, even people I don't care about don't deserve, the worst version of me. Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, what I've been doing so far, I started picking up kind of doing blog stuff again. So I've been kind of just tinkering around with that and kind of editing footage somewhat, because I was trying to think of something to do for the Patreon, because I haven't podcasted in probably a month at this point, and I need to start back up again. Okay. Because I still love doing it. Sometimes life just gets in the way, Oh yeah. And it kind of sucks doing it by yourself somewhat. And then there's another podcast that I'm doing with a friend of mine, Chris Feenan. You might have heard him a couple times on the Korey Epps Show. Mm-hmm. At least once, yeah. We decided to start doing a show called the Korey Epps Show Presents Sideshow. Oh. Our first episode was on the Korey Epps Show, which was our episode with my friend Bree, who has I'm in love with her voice. Mm-hmm. She's such a sweet girl and everything, but I'm more in love with her voice than anything.
That was a good episode. And so that's been kind of the most talked about episode on the Korey Epps Show. But I want to get back to what I was supposed to be doing with it, entertainment news and stuff, Mm-hmm. But so that's why I decided to do Sideshow, so I can do stuff like that and sit there and talk and not have to get off topic and everything. We can sit there. The first episode actually is going to be on suicide. Oh, there's a good one. Yeah. It's kind of a serious one. We figured to kind of get that out of the way, because it's something we both dealt with in life, and I've had thoughts like that before myself. So it's kind of open up a little bit more than, there's a lot of things on there that not even you know that I've been through and that I haven't made public that I talk about on there. Okay. Edit point. Resuming edit. Resuming edit. I don't even know what they say, because you never hear the part where they say resuming edit or whatever. Not really. Although I have heard them say edit point and then go and then let people know that when you hear people say I'm just referring to this is such deep cut stuff from like Smodcast. I don't even know why. There were some episodes I heard more than once because we would use them. Like my wife and I would put them in we have an MP3 player car stereo that would actually read MP3s off of CDs. So like if you had MP3s, you could burn them onto a CD and then it would read them. And we'd listen to podcasts when we'd make the 12-hour journey between Washington, where I used to live, and where she's from, and then made it down here to Arcata. Whenever we do that trip a couple times a year, we'd put on Smodcasts and Tell 'em Steve Dave episodes so that we could have something that was long and interesting to listen to on the long and boring stretches of the road. So yeah, anyway, but yeah, so suicide. Yes, I mean, I've been medicated in the past, and I definitely have had suicidal ideations at one time or another. I've always managed to not let myself consider it too seriously, and I know that there are other people who can't manage that. And, if there are any of you out there listening who, are thinking of hurting yourselves, call somebody for help. Call, there's a hotline.
Call the hotline.
Call the hotline. Do you have the hotline number handy?
I think I still have it on my phone. It's 1-800 273 8255. 1-800-273-8255. And honestly, I will say this. Call them, or even if you need to, if you feel like you're going to do something, like if you need to even tweet me, do that, because we can talk.
Sure.
Just talk to somebody, because it's hard sometimes. It's hard sometimes to deal with stuff like that, especially if it's just a conversation that you need.
Absolutely. There's no shame in therapy, really, honestly. If it also gives the opportunity to have somebody else, stranger. Yeah, to have somebody who's qualified listen to your situation, and if they're good, they'll have an ability to encapsulate what you've said to them, so you can hear it back, which is good for a person like me who worries that they're unable to communicate or express themselves in a clear manner. Like I there was a while there when I was like, I'm not sure that I'm even saying words correctly because I appear to be not getting what seems like should be the correct response from people. I don't understand why that's happening. Is it me? Is there, I was like, is there a neural thing going on? Like, Oliver Sacks wrote this book, rest in peace, about I think it was called The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. And it just, there's a thing called, I think, aphasia, where you say words and you think you're saying, a word like cat, and you're actually saying bicycle. So you're thinking, like, I'm going, yeah, I'd like to go, I want to go, I'm going to go pet my cat. And I think I'm saying that, but what you're hearing is me actually saying I'm going to go pet my bicycle. But the thing is, I don't know the difference. So for a while there, I was so in the headspace of, are people just not understanding what I'm saying, that I was worried that I was actually just not saying the words correctly, and they were just kind of, didn't know how to deal with it, because often that's how people deal with things, is by not dealing with them. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
That part, the part about, not the whole thing, not the actual condition, but so anyway, it didn't turn out to be that, but it was it was a kind of a dark period trying to figure out anyway, so I started learning a new language instead, because it taught me things about communication and how specific words have specific meanings, and it helps if everybody agrees on a meaning of a word, because it really helps communication.
Yeah,
in ways that that should be obvious, but Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this episode went dark. Not.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
Well, that's what I do sometimes. I make things dark. Not only skin color wise. This is now darkest episode of Succotash you ever do. I'm sorry.
The darkest episode of Succotash.
It's like, do you remember Community?
Yes, I remember it as a show. Yes, absolutely. I saw 3 whole seasons and bits of subsequent ones.
Did you ever see the episode where the dice rolling episode?
Oh, that was one of the ones that was on Yahoo?
No, that was one of it was still on NBC. It was before Donald Glover left. I think it was actually that season that they did that, or the season before. But there's actually where they roll like a 20-sided die to determine reality.
Yeah.
Like which reality would be the one. And one of them is the darkest timeline.
Yes, the darkest timeline. Oh, that must be okay, that makes sense. So
yeah,
there's that I don't know where the concept of the darkest timeline came from as a thing, but it is possible that there's this group of people in the UK that I watch their videos outside Xbox. They also have a channel called Outside Extra, and they have various videos that are like they're all for gamer people. So it's like 7 times sometimes the game was so meta it freaked us out, or 8 games that we swear are messing with you on purpose, or whatever it is, like, and then one of them was I think it was 7 times it was the darkest timeline in video games. So it was like it would show alternate timelines either for real history or for, I guess, existing stuff in games. And one of them was for the for the Force Unleashed. Did you ever play that Star Wars game?
Yeah, I finished the first one, and I was very disappointed by the second one.
I heard the second was disappointing as well. Apparently, in either the original Force Awakens or in the second one, there's like, well, you can basically kill off the entire original Star Wars cast one by one. And it's kind of shows like each one. So it's like, oh, and including, I think there's an ending where Luke turns to the dark side, so his eyes turn yellow and everything.
Oh, wow.
So they're like, this is one of those times when it was the darkest timeline. So when you said the darkest timeline, I was like, oh, that's like, yeah, I wonder if is that a Doctor Who thing, or like, or is that just a common, like, referring to something as the darkest timeline, maybe they're community fans. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, it's probably been a concept that's been there since probably film and books started and all that. Like even Star Trek, OG series had like the darkest, timeline. It had Spock with a goatee.
Well, the mirror universe, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Evil Spock. That's right. Yeah. We're indicating that they're evil because they have goatees. Yeah, it was hilarious. Mm-hmm. Wasn't there a Shatner with a goatee as well?
I think there was an evil Shatner when he split himself up in a transporter.
Oh, well, that's the Enemy Within, I think.
Yeah.
There's like a poodle there was some kind of dog with a unicorn horn on it, and it was like spray painted. Well, I don't know. It was pink. And the transporter was malfunctioning, so like, the dog came up, and then, like, I think Shatner came up, and then a second dog comes up, and it's a split dog, and they're like, oh, what are we going to do with this other dog? I don't know. Well, we better get it to sickbay or whatever and figure out what's going on. And when they leave, another Shatner comes up, and it's the evil Shatner. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a good episode. That's probably one of the most recognizable? One of the ones that most people know of? I don't know how to put that, but yeah, that's
I heard about it first on Babylon, so...
Oh, on Hollywood Babylon? Really?
Yeah.
What was the... did they have an evil Garmin, evil Kev, or was there like a...
No, they talked about it. They talked about that clip on there. If there's an evil Kev and an evil Garmin, then Ralph Garman is... Well, he's just angry. And I feel like if there was an evil version of him, Ralph Garman would be nice, and Kevin would be the evil one.
Oh yeah, Kevin would be the one like, "Oh, these films are terrible.
Yeah,
you're gonna live in hope and die in despair."
Jesus. But oddly enough, one still smokes weed and one still drinks.
Turns out it's Garman who smokes, and like Kevin who's got the Jack Daniel IV.
Yeah, true.
Sorry, Jack Daniels IV. Mustn't mess up the pluralization.
This episode of Succotash is sponsored in part by TrumPoetry.com, a chronological ode to a fake muse. Enjoy a rhyming spin on the news of the day every day, as well as over 500 archived daily verses thoroughly covering the White House, America, and the world with a sticky caramel coating that's impossible to remove. That's TRUMPoetry.com. Everything you need to know in rhyming couplets. TrumPoetry.com.
Yes, TrumPoetry.com. The first selection is from August 13th of 2018. It's number 892. Do words exist that error should not be said? And who is there to forcibly prohibit them? Then what is lost? Should we no more exhibit them? Or would they but explode inside our head? And what is truly served when they are uttered in instant global reach inciting hate? No more with tact or prudence must we wait. And now in flames hear truth and discourse guttered. But what of those upon the hearing end, so sweet to dream the dreams of sheltered ears? Or are we stronger listening to our fears? A rended fabric needs both sides to mend. Beyond the fog of what was thought was meant, may we be judged upon our true intent. And here's a limerick from August 1st of 2018, number 904. You'd best be a ducker and sprinter, for it might be a bloody long winter. You can get yourself killed since now folks can build a gun from a 3D printer.
Right? Right.
Let's continue my interview with Korey Epps.
So I have a question. Now, I have questions.
You, sir, with the question.
Oh, thank you. So I understand you may have started Twitch gaming or gaming on Twitch recently?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I'll do it every once in a while. It's not like a regular thing.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly, like right now, I've been playing GTA. I've been playing, I bought a Arkham bundle, so Arkham City and Arkham Asylum.
Nice.
I started playing Arkham Asylum, Rise of the Tomb Raider. So every once in a while, on Sundays, I'll hop on and do a live stream. Sometimes I'll do it mic'd, sometimes I won't, because sometimes I just don't want to talk.
Sure.
But, I mean, it's on Twitch. I decided to go with Twitch instead of YouTube, because that way I can also try to get, like, you know, sort of an affiliate kind of deal.
Yeah.
On there, too, if you do a certain amount of hours, which would be kind of cool.
You could get a sponsor.
You could get more maybe.
Sponsors.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I thought it was interesting. My friend Ellie does hers. My friend Ginger was doing it, and I think she kind of just got tired of it. So I don't know. Like, I like it every once in a while. I mean, to be honest, like, if I'm gonna sit there and play something, I might as well be like, yeah, I might as well make a show out of it, you know?
Yeah,
it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to do that with GTA Online, though, because you got a bunch of people talking on there and doing stuff, and you don't necessarily have your own server. If you do have your own server, then you're pretty lucky. Then that way you can kind of open it up to friends.
Neat. How do you stream on Twitch? Do you with a laptop, or do you have a separate camera? Or
I have a PS4. I could hook up a webcam to it if I wanted to, but I don't necessarily have a webcam anymore. So I have my microphone that I just plug into the PS4, and it broadcasts my voice out there. So you don't see me, but you hear my voice. So it's kind of like
interesting.
It's kind of a riff tracks kind of deal if I want to. So every once in a while, when it comes to a cutscene, I will riff on the cutscene. Nice.
Oh yeah, riff tracks. Love riff tracks. Great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we got a new capture card recently, so I can. We got a capture card. We didn't have one before. We were using rewritables DVDs and to capture our game footage, but we've gone fully digital now, so it all goes onto a card, and then it offloads onto my laptop, where I put the two streams together and pray. No, and then I go through and edit it down, and hopefully it's not boring. Not a lot of views right now, but I'm still going to put more up, because eventually, somebody's going to see one and like it and then want to see the other ones. So, or at least one of the other ones, maybe, or maybe people will hate watch it. I don't really care either way. Views are views.
Yeah, no, I like doing it. It's interesting to me. Every once in a while, like I said, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, I'm gaming by myself anyway. I have a bunch of games that I still haven't even gone through yet.
You could, if you're going to just do the audio. When I say just, I don't mean like just. I mean like only. If you are only going to do the audio, then you don't have to worry about editing video. It would be very possible for you to have another person there, and then you can record that and release part of that as a podcast. That way you've got your gaming and
and audio.
That is the plan, actually.
Oh, nice.
It's just the fact that a lot of my friends don't like to come over to my house. So, and that's not because I'm like bad person or anything. It's just like my friends are sometimes a little weird about going outside their comfort zone.
Sure.
To a point. So, like, I definitely want to get one of my roommates on here on the podcast at some point, but I want to do like a thing where I can sit down and we can play a game or something and maybe record while we're playing the game and everything. Because, like, again, this new microphone I got now sounds way clearer than the last microphone that I had.
Good. I mean, not good because the other one sucked, but good because, yeah, good for you. Awesome. I love it when tech works.
Yeah, me too.
When the desired results are had, that's a big plus because people don't understand how much work it sounds it can be to get something to sound or look as good as we can get it.
Yeah.
Which may not even be up to our own standards often.
True. Yeah, it takes a lot to, like, a lot of people listen to a podcast and be like, I can do this or whatever. But it's like, yeah, you can do that. But are you also going to take the time to sit down and edit this? Are you going to go back and listen? Are you going to go cut out some of those ums if you want to or whatever? Like, I honestly, like I said, I come from the school of Smodcast. So the ums are definitely my editing points.
Such a very specific thing too that they're like
yeah.
I think they were like bitches. Snugganooch. Yeah. Whole world to be had out there.
It's very nice Kevin Smith. No.
Oh, yeah, it's not the best. It's closer to Seth Rogen maybe even, I don't know, but yeah, it is meant to be Kevin, but it's Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was laughing.
Oh, thanks. Well, I didn't know it seemed like I'm mocking him. He's got a very distinct kind of imitatable, like there was this, you can hear his voice changing over Smodcast if you're able to listen to, the whole.
Yeah, you can. Like, he starts off kind of high, like here, and then like as soon as the weed kicks in, he's like down here. It's like, hey, welcome to Smodcast.
Welcome to Smodcast. Yeah, he just kind of gets down there.
There's also a body movement thing. This is one thing I learned from Ralph Garman, just watching him on the clips and stuff. Like, you kind of transform a little bit. Like, if you look at him doing Pacino, he'd be like, wow, and his lips will kind of quiver just a little bit, like an Elvis kind of thing.
That makes sense. Oh, he's letting it inhabit or he's finding the. Yeah, I mean, it's like stretching a muscle. Sometimes you're going to make a face.
Yeah.
Like I have to hold my mouth in a certain way in order to. There's this sound. I have to remember what fun we had when you poisoned me, my dear. It's kind of it's like that. It's not quite there yet, but it's Vincent Price and getting that. I figured out the keys to it is there's a round sound that he does, and it's in here, so it's round and it's soft, and then there's sort of an Orson Welles kind of Orson is kind of down here. Sort of pinky in the brain.
He's kind of down and soft.
Yes, he's down here. So you add the two together and then occasionally push forward. Then you have to kind of make a this kind of sound because he'll smile. And when he smiles, his mouth shape changes. So it's like it's accommodating those things. And then it's just a matter of boiling it down to what's the most basic thing I could say as Vincent Price to get it across in one thing. And I don't have that yet. But Dan Harmon's thing is Spider's Delight. And also the internal monologue in The Last Man on Earth that the Corman film that Corman had something to do with it that Vincent Price was in, where he's like, the original The Omega Man or I Am Legend film was with Vincent Price, Last Man on Earth, and he's like walking around going sunrise. It's like, must remember to get more garlic.
He's doing his grocery list.
That's what it is, yeah, because he's got to fend. Well, have you seen I Am Legend? It's the same plot. He's fending off the night creatures, but he's he's got all the daytime to go around and gather supplies and get garlic because they're sort of like vampires. I don't even know if there's a garlic component in the Will Smith film, but anyway, yeah. So there's that. Yes.
I know for me, I can't really do too many. Like, I can't do celebrity voices. I can do voices, but like it's hard for me to do like somebody's voice. Like I can talk like this the whole time and sound like I'm from Great Britain if I want to,
Yeah.
or a little bit of Australia on there. Shipping up RV. Maybe I can do a little Kiwi. That's probably something.
It's pretty good. Little Kiwi, yeah.
Kiwi, yeah. It's like Brit.
British sound. Oh yes, there's so many different British accents. That's like there's a great accent that Damien Dent has from Strange Times. I don't know if you ever listened to that Soundcast, but you might have fun listening to them. They do well to have you on as a guest at one point or another. But I don't know if they're familiar with your oeuvre or not. I just like.
I've been gone long enough that like not many people. It's kind of a fresh reset. Like people. We're like, oh, you've been podcast. It's like, is this a new podcast? You new at this? And I'm just like, no, I've been doing this since 2011. I took 2 years off because, I went through something very emotional at that point. So,
yeah.
I'm trying to think, who else can I do? I can do like a cartoon voice. I can't really do, like, I always go the Michael Caine of it all, like Kevin's ways, like the size of a tangerine.
Oh, yeah, size of a tangerine. Yeah, I can't even do Michael Caine. He's Michael, because you have to start with his name.
Michael is Cockney. You have to talk Cockney.
Michael. It's like, Hello, I'm Michael Caine. I'm Michael Caine. Michael, Mr. White.
I might be able to do Michael Jackson. I was like,
oh.
I might be able to. It's like, listen, you got to get really soft with his voice, though. You got to like,
yeah.
Like, Tito, stop it, Tito.
That's pretty good, yeah. Or he's like, look, it's all love. It's just, if
it's all love. It's Tito. It says, stop it, Tito. Stop it. Stop playing.
No, it's 2 steps to the left. No, I'm sorry, but it was. We did this in rehearsal, right, guys? 2 steps to the left, then 2 steps to the right, not 1 and 1. Look.
You guys are a bunch of amateurs. I'm getting out of here.
Because he was always.
Where's Babbles?
Babbles. Come here, Babbles. How about Roseanne? Do you think you could do Roseanne?
Where's her Twitter page?
Or you can just kind of maybe just start with sort of the,
Dan!
Yeah. Like he couldn't pick up the couch cushions and find the Cheetos himself.
It's actually,
Jesus Christ, that is Roseanne.
It's really close to Louis Anderson, though. That's the thing. It's like they're very similar voices.
It's sort of that Midwestern kind of, sort of nasally kind of, like, this is Louis Anderson. It's sort of like people look at me and they're like, do you think he knows he's that fat? I'm like, of course not. That's actually one of his bits from the old days,
old day Louis.
Well, old, yeah, good old Louis Anderson. But that's basically my Roseanne is essentially it's Louis Anderson with a little bit more. It's a little higher, a little rounder. It's kind of like, and it goes to there. But I don't have any I haven't worked any of these into routines. They're not really useful.
Neither have I. Like, I can't pull out a Bill Cosby. I can't be like, oh, Jello pudding pop. Oh, I can't do that.
But that voice is funny though. Like if you did that as a character, that would be a whole other thing. Like you could just pretend you're doing a Bill Cosby, and it would be a whole other guy. That would work. I'm just saying.
True, and I can't do like a Rick and Morty. I can do kind of my version. I can do my version of things. Like if I pull out a Rick, it's gonna be like, listen, Morty, me and you're gonna go take over the world because fuck it, we can move to another one after we're done with this.
Oh, jeez,
Rick drunk. Like, oh, geez, Rick, just, this is not cool, Rick. Get your little friend, Jessica. We're gonna do this. Dominator 34. Woo! No.
That was a test, Marty, and you passed. Good job, Marty.
Good job, Marty. You passed. You passed the test. It's just him on a deathbed. Like, holy shit.
It's funny.
I think Rick died.
At least once, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, a couple times.
Got news for you, Marty. You'd probably say it that way, too. I got news for you.
It's like, geez, Doc. No.
Oh, yeah. Doc and Marty.
Doc and Marty. Geez, Doc, are you telling me my son's going to be an asshole in the future? I don't know, Marty. No.
No. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's like, is this sucker nuclear? No. This sucker's electric. I need the plutonium to generate the 1.21 gigawatts required.
1.21 gigawatts?
What the hell's a gigawatt?
Something that nobody cares about right now because it's 1985.
Which is hilarious because it means that the whole time when he was recording him saying it the first time, he didn't really even ask what a gigawatt was. He just sort of like, well, of course his job was just cameraman at that point, really, honestly. It's like, well, sorry, Doc, I don't understand what you're saying. It's like, you don't have to. The people he's talking to on the videotape need to understand what he's saying. But so yeah, and then later he hears gigawatt again and he has to actually ask what it is. And he's saying it wrong, but whatever.
He's like, I tried to sleep with my mom. Doc, my mom tried to sleep with me.
This is heavy. Weight has nothing to do with it. Sorry.
That's a classic line too.
It's a great movie.
Okay, let's do the audio play for Back to the Future. Here we go. One day, yes. One day, Marty woke up. That's about it.
He went into the room filled with clocks, turned on the amp, got blown on his ass. His first words are, "Whoa."
Whoa.
And then rock and roll. And then he gets the call.
And then Huey Lewis kicks in.
Oh, yeah. It's the power of... Power of love is a curious thing. Make one man weep, make another man sing. Change your heart to Little White Dove. It's a power something. It's a power of love.
Power of love.
Don't take money. No, sorry. I jumped it.
Yeah. Dun, dun, no.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got way off track.
We did. Well, yes. Even if we get off track, yes. We experienced technical problems toward the end there, so we had to cut off our conversation a bit more suddenly than intended. So, I'd like to once again thank my guest, Korey Epps, here and encourage you to check out The Korey Epps Show. You can listen to the show on anchor.fm at anchr.fm/KOREYEPPSSW. You can find The Korey Epps Show on iTunes. You can find it on Pocket Cast. On Twitter, he's That Evil Ted Guy. That's ThatEvilTedGuy. On Facebook, he is facebook.com/Korey Epps ET, KOREYEPPSET. And on Instagram, he is KOREYEPPS13, 1 and 3. You can check out Korey's music on SoundCloud, which is at KOREVIL 2013 or 2013. And you can check out the Korey Epps Show Patreon at www.patreon.com/Korey Show/overview if you'd like to become a Patreon patron. A Patreon. Also, the show archive of the Evil Teddy Bear Podcast is at eviltedpodcast.blogspot.com. That's eviltedpodcast.blogspot.com. And now I'd like to thank you for spending your time with us. I appreciate it a great deal. If you like what you're hearing, I'd like to invite you to tell people about us here at Succotash, the Comedy Soundcast. Sharing is caring, after all. And it's the most direct way to honor our request that you please pass the Succotash.
You've been listening to Succotash Chat, the Comedy Soundcast with your host, Tyson Saner. Brought to you by Henderson's Pants and...
Imagine your company's name right here.
Find us on the web at succotashshow.com, on iTunes, on Stitcher Smart Radio, on SoundCloud, on YouTube, on Dunder, on Blitzen, on iHeartRadio, and on a laughable app. You can hear us streaming and like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Succotash Show. Email us at TysonSaner@succotashshow.com. Or call into the Succotash hotline at our toll call number, 818-921-7212.
That number again is 818-921-7212.
You can also upload clips from your favorite comedy soundcasts directly to us by using our direct upload link at hightail.com/u/Succotash. Production of Succotash is overseen by Joe Paulino through the auspices of Studio P Sausalito, hosted by Tyson Saner. Our executive producer is Marc Hershon. Our musical director is Scott Carvey. Our booth assistant is Kenny Durges. Until next time, I'm your loyal booth announcer, Bill Haywatt, reminding you to please pass the Succotash. Goodbye.